Howdy and welcome to the Pals Podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. We are on Twitch, twitch.tv/Setherson. We are going to be doing the podcast every Saturday now, and it's going to be at around 6 p.m. Central Time. If anything changes, obviously you will know that in my Discord and my Twitter, so make sure to go check that out in the links down below, and hopefully you do enjoy the podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about something that you don't really see much these days. You know, it's really tough to find people that are like this, you know, that spend their days to try to make people happy. And the topic today is kindness. Okay, so kindness is kind of an idea that people know about, but you know, it's not really used a lot. People tend to say that they can be kind or whatever, and then don't really use it, if that makes sense. We've gotten so numb to what the world is like today that we kind of don't really understand other people's feelings, and we kind of only think about ourselves these days, and that kindness is kind of pushed back. It's not something that people like to really talk about or really perform anymore, because of how, I guess, modern it is to be a terrible person. Like, I hate to say that, but once you go on, you know, social media or the news or whatever, all you see is sadness and terrible things, and it's kind of rough to figure out how hard it is for people to be kind. You kind of go through every single day. One day you'll have a great day of people just being nice, maybe, and then all of a sudden the next day everybody's just rude to you, and you feel like you're kind of getting singled out. And it's tough because, you know, you never know what people are going through. Life's tough. It's always going to be like that. But kindness is not hard to perform, you know. I've talked about this a little bit, but I had a project I had to do in my English class for college, and it was, you know, to talk about something I'd previously written about, and kindness was one of my topics, luckily. So I was able to get up and present, and I kind of started out, you know, talking about kindness, like what it is and what people can do to just do simple acts of kindness. So that's kind of what I started out with. And all I said was, you know, you could start out with smiling at people, you know, just walking up and say, hey, you look great today. You know, remind people that they matter to you. That's simple acts of kindness. If you message somebody or you walk up to them one day and you're just like, just remember that I honestly care about you and I hope you're doing well, and hopefully good things are happening for you. That makes a huge impact, honestly. You never really realize how much of an impact you make, because a lot of the times it's kind of forgotten. You know, people don't really tend to always say thank you and always do this, always do that. Like, you can't expect something to come out of kindness, but that doesn't mean that kindness isn't making an impact. Because even the biggest heroes are the ones that are unspoken, okay? The ones you don't hear about are usually the ones that make the biggest impact, and the ones that really help as best as they can. It's just, you know, they haven't been noticed, or something hasn't been thrown in front of them that allow them to kind of express what they've done for people. And it's also good because they don't really want the spotlight. They kind of just, they're there to be kind. They're there to help people. They don't care about the fame. They don't care about the money. They just want to be there for you. And I'm one of those people. I honestly want everybody to be happy. I know it's not possible to get every single person in this world happy, but for as long as I can, I'm going to try to be kind to everybody and make the best decisions based on how I can make people happy and make people smile. And it's just, if you think about these things and you're just like, wow, that's so crazy. How do you do this? How are you kind all the time? Like, people are so rude all the time. How can you be so nice? Here's the thing. I understand how people can kind of get into that rotation of, you know, it's easier to be rude to people, you know, especially in the society today where most people just accept being disrespectful and nothing's really said about it. You kind of just sit there and you're just like, okay, we'll let this happen. And I've kind of learned that if you accept somebody's behavior and you don't remind them that being rude is not a good thing, they're going to continue to do it. accepted behavior is going to be the lead of why they want to do what they do. So let me give you an example. If somebody is talking to you and they kind of say, wow, you're not really looking good today, what's wrong with you, or something sarcastic like that, if you just laugh about it and continue to go on, they're obviously not going to think that they're doing anything wrong. You see, being kind does not mean you can't say no. So just allow yourself to also be kind to you. You know, kindness goes both ways. You need to be kind to yourself to be kind to other people. And if you just kind of accept the negativity and all the hardships and just all the obstacles in your life, and you're just like, okay, we're just gonna let this happen, it's whatever, I don't even care anymore, then you're going to continue to have that negativity in your life. And obviously nobody wants that. I mean, I guess there are some people out there that appreciate negativity. I don't know who, but in all honesty, being kind is a lot easier, because not only will you make good connections, good friends, but at the same time, you'll sit there and you'll make somebody's day a lot better. You'll be there for somebody and they can be there for you. You have no idea what could happen by you just being simply kind to somebody. I just started in college last semester, and my main focus was to, you know, make friends and be kind to people, because that's who I am. So I went in, I was, you know, telling people, I hope you're having a great day, you look great today, all that stuff. And now I have like so many great friends in college, and it was all just because I was trying to be nice to people. That's what people want and are really hoping for. It's kind of hard to find those genuine, kind people these days. You kind of just sit around and expect everybody to be rude. Like, there are those people that you kind of look at and you're just like, wow, they have like a snobby look to them. And you kind of just judge people based on what they look like or what other people tell you. But, you know, you can really get to know somebody, and you can find the kindness in everybody's heart. I know there's some type of kindness in somebody's heart. And, you know, people say, why should you be kind if they're not going to be kind to you? Or why should you try so hard for somebody that's not going to try for you? Well, here's the thing. That's something that's different from them and you. You can say that you try. They can't. You know, you're trying so hard for somebody, and just because it's not turning out how you thought it would, that doesn't mean you haven't made an impact. That means that you tried your best, and there's nothing wrong with that. You got to continue to try, or nothing's going to happen. You see, I haven't always been the guy that's like expressive and trying to help people. Like back in the day, when I was a lot younger, it was around, you know, elementary school through high school. I wasn't very talkative. I kind of stuck to my own. I didn't have a lot of friends in like middle school, elementary school, so I kind of just stick to my own thing. And in high school, I gained more friends because I was in choir, but otherwise, I still was only in my shell, and I kind of didn't express myself to anybody. So I just kind of sit there. I wasn't really afraid to talk to people, I guess. It's just you kind of get in that mode where you're just like, you let other people do their own thing, you do your own thing. So I kind of did that, and once I got out of high school, I was like, okay, I've seen how people can be now. I understand what can happen if you don't make a difference or try something to change somebody. Well, somebody's perspective. If you just sit there and let bad things happen, they're obviously going to happen. If we try to change this world for the better and involve more kindness and more helping, then there's going to be something that happens. And like I said, being kind, it's simple. Walk by somebody, smile at them, ask somebody how their day's going, remind people they matter to you. You know, it's like I said, being a friend of somebody is great, but you also have to be a friend of them by being there for them, reminding them that they're your friend for a reason and you care about them, because it's a lot easier to forget than to remember. You know, I've had so many people that would say that they're a friend of mine, and that's great because I love being friends with anybody and everybody. If I would go to them for something, like if I had an issue that I needed to talk about or something, they would kind of just leave me on red. They wouldn't really talk much. They would just kind of sit there. But if the roles were flipped, I would be talking to them all night trying to help them. You know, it's just, you got to remind people that they matter to you. And if you don't, it's easily forgotten. And it's simple kindness like that that can change somebody's life. Before we keep going, I just want to say I do appreciate everybody for tuning in to the podcast today. What's up, Kalen? Good to see you. What's up, Boy Meme? What's up in Standing and Windows? I cannot help with that. I'm sorry, pal. You're gonna have to talk to somebody more advanced about that. But I can help you about kindness. Good to see you, Amber. Hopefully you are doing well also. So I was on somebody's stream last night. Good friend of mine, Miscellaneous 101. Make sure to go check her out. She is a kind of new streamer. I went to her stream and she was talking about me because I talked in chat, obviously, and she was like, you know, it's so great because Seth is so nice. In the middle of his stream, he just stops and he reminds people that they matter. And he's so nice, and he's caring, and like in the middle of the stream, he just stops and says stuff like that, and it's so great. And it felt good knowing that I'm making some type of impact, because I never really thought about how much of an impact doing something like that would do. You know, I just kind of naturally have gotten used to being that guy that cares about people. Like I kind of try to make sure that everybody's doing all right. I try to ask people how their day's going. I know it gets kind of repetitive sometimes, but I feel like, honestly, it does help some people knowing that there is somebody there that wants to listen about how their day's going, especially if it's a bad day. And it's like, you think that that type of kindness isn't going to really go much of anywhere. Even if it's like a 2-second talk or whatever. So you kind of just think, oh well, maybe they just don't want to talk to me, or maybe I'm annoying them or whatever, because, you know, overthinking, which is going to be in a different podcast one day, don't you worry. Done plenty of that. You kind of just sit there and you're like, maybe I should just stop. But in reality, they're thinking, I'm glad somebody's here that actually cares and wants to know how my day's going. You know, it's simple acts of kindness that's easily forgotten, that society has decided, you know, we don't need that anymore. There's no point. You know, modern day people get famous off of being rude to people, so might as well try that. But have you really noticed that all the people that have continuously done rude things have actually been the people that have later in life been caught for those, and then, you know, gotten in trouble for those? If you're kind, guess what? The only thing you can get caught for is being kind, and it'll make people want to be around you more. What's wrong with that? It's a lot easier being nice to people. There's no long-term terrible effects. And obviously, we're not all going to be kind 100% of the time. We're human. What can we do about that? Absolutely nothing. We're human. I told you. But, you know, you can continue to try for somebody, and at least you were there for them. Because it's a lot better if somebody knows that somebody is there for them than them being alone and having to overthink it by themselves. You know, it's a lot easier to just kind of say, we don't need that. Or, you know, I'm gonna stick to my own thing. I don't really need to help anybody. Because that's what a lot of people do now. They kind of just push it to the side and they're like, it's not worth it. I'll just kind of do my own thing. But like I said, in school I was like that. And then all of a sudden I realized me doing things like this, or me messaging somebody, or me trying to be there for people, it really changes lives. It honestly does. And I've had people walk up to me and they were like, thank you for being you. And it's such a good feeling knowing that you helped somebody that day. It's a lot better feeling than, you know, you trying to be rude to somebody and then all of a sudden it just backfires, you know? There's always something negative that comes out of something negative. That's why being positive is such a good thing. You know, you can sit there and pretend that the negativity isn't going to catch up to you, that you're fine, it's whatever. But then all of a sudden, you get hit right in the face, bro. And what are you going to do? That's when the lying starts. That's when the terrible things happen. You don't want to be a part of that. And I know sometimes you get into situations where you try to be nice and maybe you messed up somehow. That could easily happen. Because some people don't want anybody to talk to that day. And that's okay. We just gotta learn that we all have different perspectives. We all have different lives. We all have different stories. We all have different roads that we go down. But trying for each other, helping each other, trying to motivate each other is what is important. Because we could kind of just go down this line of, you know, fighting for power or fighting for money or fighting for whatever. And it's just going to be the same old every time. People are going to get hurt. The world's going to get hurt. We can't progress for as long as we're so caught up in our own little bubble. We can't progress. But if we decide to help each other, motivate each other, and really be there for each other, we can actually make some type of impact in this world. It's crazy, because you kind of think you're not really going to do much because you're just one person. But once you start collecting people that are like you and that actually want to do something and change things, it's a lot different. I mean, maybe that's why, you know, the world is so harsh these days. There's more people being that way that have kind of caused others to think it's okay. Because in my opinion, you know, I think nobody is born into hate. I think it's accepted and learned behavior. And it's pretty valid. I mean, anybody can have their own perspective on it. I'm not trying to change anybody's mindset. That's not the point of the podcast. It's just kind of to give you a perspective of mine. But I think, you know, it's accepted and learned behavior that allow them to think that it's okay to be rude to other people. And for as long as we continue down that road, obviously, people are going to continue to be like that. And it's kind of tough because you sit around and you see all this hate in the world and you kind of feel, I don't know, you feel bad, I guess, because you feel like you can't really do much, but you can. I mean, starting out doing small, simple things is not a bad thing. Like whenever I was interning, I would do simple tasks. And they were so nice whenever I'd finished those. They were like, oh my goodness, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I didn't gain anything out of it except for experience and helping. I wasn't mad that I didn't gain anything. I was happy I was able to help somebody. And you know, I don't get everything right. I'm not perfect. It's how it's gonna be. I'm human. I'm gonna keep reminding you that. I'm human. I make mistakes. Everybody does. There is nothing wrong with that. The point is, you tried. And as long as you try, that's all that matters. I've learned that, you know, even the adults that are highest of powers, you know, they're sitting around and doing their thing and they're great. But they make mistakes too. They have bad days. We all do. That's how life is. We can't really have perfect days. We can have good days. We've got to have the bad days to have the good days. But none of us are going to have a perfect day. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can continue to be kind, though, even on the bad days. Because maybe, just maybe, if you try to help somebody else, maybe it could also help you. And there are going to be people there for you. Like I said, I'm always trying to be here for everybody. And even though that's not always going to be 100% easy, at least I try to do something. And you can too. Anybody can. Anybody can do what I do. You can sit in front of people and talk about it. You can privately message somebody. You can go around school being all happy and trying to change the world. Anybody can do it. Anybody. I wasn't the only person born into doing something like this. Anybody's allowed to do something. It's just that point of you have to learn that, one, you need to step out of your shell, and two, you have to kind of learn.
Hey, that's a host.
Thanks for the host. You have to learn, you know, that it's okay to try to help people. And I also know that it's also easy to try to not help people, because that's what most people are like. They sit there and they're just like, not today. Maybe tomorrow. Not today. I mean, procrastinators, you know what I'm saying? You can't really help that, can you? You can, actually. Once you get in that mode of you're kind of just sitting around thinking, you're like in that mindset of procrastination, just like, you know, homework and stuff. It's easy to get out of that. It may not look like it, but it is. I mean, hey, I stayed up till like 4 in the morning. I was like, am I actually gonna stream today? I hit that play button. We're still going. I'm just saying, you gotta put your foot down and try to actually do something to do something. Because for as long as you prolong it, it's not gonna happen. And that's what's gonna happen with kindness in the world. We can change this world together. Literally, if we have to do it one step at a time, we can. This is one step, chat. Having a podcast talking about problems and how to change the world, that's one step. You can do it too. You can go around Discord saying, hey, hope you're all having a great day. Or you can go into Twitch streams, smaller streamers, hope you're having a great day. Or you can walk by somebody at school or work and be like, you look great today. Hope you're doing well. That was a fantastic presentation you did. That's stuff I do. And it's simple. You get that big old smile too whenever you hear them, or they hear you say that. They're just like, oh, thank you. Most of the time. And if somebody's having a bad day or they look like they're having a rough day, it's okay to walk up to them and be like, yo, if you need anything, just let me know. I'm always here. Or you can say, I hope your day gets better. You just never know, you know? It's kind of tough out there. And most of the time you just kind of sit around and you have sarcastic people, okay? That believe the behavior they have is okay. They go into Twitch streams, they go into chats, and they pretend that what they do is funny. Okay? When they don't realize how hard somebody is actually working to do what they do. There was an example. I can't help that people are like that. You can't help that people are like that. But trying to give them a new perspective can help. You know, there's always going to be those people that are negative and think they know everything and that they're funny whenever they're not. It's just how life is. But that doesn't mean we can't change it. That means we have a chance of trying to change somebody. I do want to remind you all that you're all incredible people. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast for today. I hope you're all doing fantastic. If you do have any questions, real questions, or you want to talk about something, just let me know. If you ever have suggestions on what you want to talk about, also let me know. I do have a Discord, !Discord. You can put your suggestions in. And, or Twitter or Instagram, whatever. It all works. But having you all here is an incredible thing. I do appreciate every single one of you. But yeah, let me give an example of what happens on Twitch. Okay, I've learned that there are so many negative people out there on Twitch. And obviously y'all saw that. So, because I guess majority of streamers I've watched, I'm not saying everybody's like this, are okay with like sarcasm and, you know, rude messages and stuff, and you know, that's their business, that's their thing. But I guess they don't really set those limits for people to remind them, hey, remember, one, this is a joke, and two, you have to make sure you know who you're talking to before you decide to perform this joke. Because it might be funny to somebody, but somebody else it could hurt, like legitimately. And we don't really think about that. We don't really sit there, we don't really process, hey, is this actually going to hurt somebody? Could this actually do something to harm somebody? Because like I said, you don't know what people have been through before. You don't know how hard somebody's working to get somewhere. You don't understand exactly everybody's personal problems, personal issues, whatever. So you really have to understand that what you do definitely has consequences. And what you say is very important. Words definitely hurt. Words can be a motivator or a demotivator. And you have to be careful what you say, especially if you're trying to be kind to somebody. Because it's a lot easier to just talk to somebody and be like, yeah, you'll get better, it's fine. Or, it's gonna be okay. That's easy to get out. You know, but you kind of have to sit there and actually care enough to be there for somebody, to show how much kindness you actually want to give. And it sucks, because obviously, not every person is going to be a good person. But there are genuine people out there. And there will be people out there that you find that you try for, and it doesn't work out, or whatever. But you tried. That's what kindness is about, trying. And as long as you're there to try, that's all that matters. I do want to thank y'all for tuning into the podcast today. We have been going for about 30-ish minutes. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, you are incredible people. Happy I was able to be here and talk about a little bit of kindness. I think it's important. We will be having our podcast every Saturday now, just because, you know, I'm starting back school soon. And we kind of have to get through that. Saturdays are probably the best. We'll have it at 6 p.m. all the time. And if it changes, obviously I'm going to tell you on Discord or Twitter. But thank you all so much for tuning in. We are going to get into rating somebody. If you don't know, I do stream this on Twitch, twitch.tv/Setherson. Hopefully you will check that out. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll catch you all next time. Bye.